we talk about wealth, the W, I like acronyms. The W says, who are you? Every single person here, you've got strengths. And I trust that you know who you are. You've heard about the disc analysis. You've heard about words in the marketplace that says somebody is a choleric or a sanguine or a phlegmatic or melancholy. But the truth is, a lot of people have taken that into head knowledge and they haven't made it part of their lives. What you and I want to do is to make that reality. When I speak about a choleric, I speak about a person with drive. That's the kind of guy, you don't have to ask him to get out of bed. He's out of bed and it's like, man, he had oats and pronutro. He is just with it. I can just see his wife say, just slow down, please. I'm not awake yet. But that person just has a natural drive, has got an energy. Because you know how they rest? They rest by doing things. That's something that they do. Then you have your sanguine, or we call that a high I, or an influencer. A person that has got the knack to influence other people. They can't help it. When they speak, people stop, they turn, they listen. It just goes with them. They've got this influence over people that makes that huge difference. Then we come to high S's. Those are the people, or the phlegmatics. They support us. The S stands for being supportive. Wonderful. Wonderful to have a person that is so much in support that helps you and I. And then we have lastly, the C for conscientiousness. A hard-working person. But these people are normally critical analysts. Now look at the age group here, and maybe I'm going to take it back to a time in age that you start understanding. Remember the 60s? Do you remember the record, Leader of the Pack? Look out, look out, look out. Leader of the Pack. I see you can recognize that. Oh, good, yeah, I see that. Now, can you remember? I'll give you the 4 S's. There was Slade. Now, Slade was in charge. When Slade spoke, people listened. Slade was the leader. Because you see, he had a baseball bat. And you don't want to mess with Slade. Oh, no, you don't want to do that. When Slade said, ladies, gentlemen, everybody said, the boss is speaking. You see, that's the same person. That's a choleric. Now, because I'm not speaking about that era, everybody's starting to understand it. That was Slade. But then there's the next guy, Sleek. He had the Bovril, the Brill cream. I call it Bovril. And then what he would do is he would look the part. Because you see, he was the man who was always well-dressed, branded. He'd like to show you, check the brand, okay? Because old Sleek, he knew everybody. Person of influence. And when Slade said, hey, Sleek, yes, sir, he was there. And he says, don't worry, leave it to me. Because Sleek knew all the moves. And he knew how to get to people, what to say, what to do, and he really just loved being with people. But then we had the next guy, the supporter guy. I call that Spud. Spud, I just see him there sitting there on his Harley. And you know what, if anybody wanted to know anything about anything, the bikes, the parts, they go to old Spud. Hey, Spud. Yeah. Can I ask you this question? Of course. I mean, they were just there. And old Spud was one of those guys that he knew relationship. Because you know what? He asked questions. Because old Spud was a relationship guy. He knew when you felt sick. He knew when your bike wasn't performing. He knew when you needed help. And you know what? You knew you can go and talk to Spud anytime. That's what you want to do. But hey, the high melancholy, I call him Slash. You know what? When Slade wants to get some of the bucks in, there's only one person he asks. He tells Sleek, can you just make some noise? Can you tell Slash that I need some bucks? And I want to tell you, you don't want to get to Slash. Because you'll pay up front. Please don't do it. I promise you, I'm going to pay it this week. I'm going to pay it this week. I can just see those times. Okay? So there we basically had Slade and Sleek and Spud and Slash. Well, that just gives you a bit of a feel. Did you know, and I'm asking the question, do you know who you are? That the way that you stand, the car that you drive, will give away to people who you are. Now, if you want to be effective in whatever business you run, you need to know who you are. For instance, the choleric, the Slades, or the high drivers, they like to stand with the one hand in the pocket like I'm standing now, and they lean forward when they communicate with you. It's, did you get this? Serious. And by the way, their key that really makes them respond, get to the bottom line. Don't waste my time. I don't want to hear stories. What was that? Okay, let's move on. You know those kind of people? I can see you smiling. You recognize your boss. Because you see, that's a typical choleric. One hand in the pocket, forward, and they take command. And by the way, they love taking charge. But then we go to the next guy, The sanguine. How do they stand? Well, they take a little bit more space. They could both hand in the pockets. And they like to sort of go forward on their toes, elbows out, smiling all the time. And they love talking, especially about themselves. Okay? Did you know what I did last week? They'll tell you about their great results. But these are the people that everybody loves to be with. Because why? They are people of influence. But this is typically who they are, okay? They take a lot of space. Oh, sorry. You asked me, what about a female? Can I just go back to the choleric? The same guy with the one hand in the pocket. The only difference is feet together, hand on the hip. Pop, 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 pop. Okay. I know I don't do the woman thing very well. Okay, it's hard for a real man to do that. I'm sorry. Okay, but when you get to the sanguine, it's the same thing. But the only difference is hands and talk. They talk incessantly. The arms go. You can watch in the coffee shop. I mean, the rugby's on, and two high eyes having coffee. I want to tell you, it's difficult to watch the rugby because you're watching the show on this side. Then what about the next person? Well, that is the S. How do they stand? Well, they stand one hand in the pocket maybe two hands in the pocket, but they're leaning backwards. And they normally like to lean against a wall or something. You'll find them leaning against the wall. They're relaxed. Saturday afternoon, beer in the hand. Nice, comfortable, relaxed. But there's something that is what a trademark. Do you know what it is? They smile a lot. They can't help it. When they see you, it's like, because they are really genuine people. They are friendly people. So when they walk in the mall, now imagine the scene. You've got this lady that is now one of these, and she's got a very jealous husband. Now you just walk and you just turn and you just see something look smile and you just smile. You're smiling. No, I didn't. I promise you, I didn't. Okay? Because it's natural. You stop at the traffic light. It's natural. You turn left and you smile. It doesn't mean anything intentional. It's just who you are. You're a friendly person. And people love just to be with you because you're so soft and gentle. Then, obviously, we have the high melancholies. Now, look at this lady here in front. Hand on the chin. Because you see, when they do this, they're sort of checking you out. Well, Mr. Ferguson over there, the same thing. Folded, arms folded, checking you out. That's really language that says, listen, I'm checking you out. So body language, normally when I start speaking, I can see you all have changed body positions, okay? All right, you're feeling a bit uncomfortable. But it's the way that you sit. It gives away who you are, the way you dress. And by the way, I mean, how do you rest, for heaven's sake? Let's go back to that choleric guy. You get onto a holiday, you get to Bushman's Neck, you say, oh, I've worked so hard, I need to rest. And you lie back and you rest. And after a while, you start getting bored. And you jump up, let's go play putt-putt. And the woman says, oh, we've just arrived. Oh, okay, sorry, all right. You sit down again. After a while, let's go for a walk. Because you see, you have to understand, a choleric rests by doing something. They can't do nothing. It's a waste of time to do nothing. They will never come to a meeting 15 minutes before the time because they could have fitted so much else in. But there's this little thing that says, I can race to get there. If I'm there 3 minutes before the time, I made it. And it doesn't matter how they raced. The moment they walk in, they're in control. I mean, you don't have to know I raced, but I'm here on time. Because they pride themselves of just making it.